Alright, welcome back to the channel. So as you can see, this morning we are going to work on making some pulls on this guy. So I have been putting this thing off and did not want to mess with this one because of how bad it is. So this was another one that I had the brilliant idea that being I had two doors, that I would buy a car that's completely demolished and fix it. What I did not realize in the pictures looking over it on IAA is that this whole pillar right here is actually pushed way in a good amount. So it's definitely going to take some frame pulls. What I want to do this morning, first thing, is get these doors pulled enough where I can open them, because from the accident they're crushed in and they won't even open. They're so bad. This one's all jacked up. You can see this one's up higher here. This body line's higher than that. It's all jacked up. So we want to get these doors ripped off basically this morning, get this fender off and assess the damage and see how bad it really is. See if this is going to be one that we're going to be able to just pull the pillars out and repair it, or if this is going to be one that we're going to fluff up and send back to the auction for, sadly, somebody else who's a little less educated to purchase, and it'd be their problem. It's the name of the game in this business. I don't try to hide it, don't try to fake it. It is what it is. So let's get to pulling. Alright, so we got a lot of this rough pulled out. We got all of this was in pretty bad. We got this, like I said, this is just a rough pull. This hinge right here needs to come more like this, so it's tilted like that. It needs to stand up. So what we're going to do is go ahead and get the door off, bolt my hinge puller, which is one that Mike made. We made a lot of our tools in-house instead of buying them, giving somebody else money. It's not called for. So we made this guy. It's adjustable and it fits on most of the time. You can get it where it will bolt to most of them. So we're gonna get the door off, bolt this guy up, and then pull that bottom one out a little, pull that top one out a little to what appears to be right, and then hang a new door on it. So let me take you for a walk and show you the reason why I buy this messed up stuff. So as you can see, I have doors lined up for days. So I have a whole Chrysler 200 right here, all the doors. And that's the reason why I'm tempted to buy these things when I have the parts, and then sometimes I buy them a little rougher. We have all these doors over here, a lot. Doors, bumpers, Super Duty doors off of like a newer Super Duty. We got quite a few of them. BMW bumpers, just all kinds of freaking crap back here in my personal junkyard. So, man, my mind starts going everywhere when I come back here, because I got this money sitting every freaking where. We're gonna get these doors out of here, take the two driver ones up front, and fit them on the vehicle. All right, so we're kind of jacked all up. this side doesn't want to close right now. But our issue, me and Ed just seen it, is if you look at your striker, you see where your striker moved. So look how bad that thing moved. So there is in your paint. Normally if you look on your vehicle, if you ever take anything off and move anything, you'll have paint where paint, you know, is basically aged. So this striker is way up, twisted, jacked all up. And then also, I don't know if it's showing on the camera, but basically this striker should be like this, and it's actually rolled in. They make an actual tool to yank on these strikers and adjust them. I don't have it, so I'm gonna probably have to figure out how I want to get the striker back out. Maybe come through, maybe take the door back off and come through with a chain and pull it that way. Maybe just take a pry bar in here. Maybe I'll try that, pull that back out. So I'll mess with that, but we definitely have to loosen this and go down with it. So what I'm probably gonna do for now is I'll try to bend it out and go down back to where the paint's at and just see if that even works. If that doesn't work, I might just take the striker out for right now to get the doors to try to line back up. And if anybody's asking about suspension, I'm not worried about suspension. Suspension is normally easy. Sometimes you can have bent subframes and stuff like that, but suspension is not bad. And we went into this project with the idea that if I can't get this pulled back out, that we're gonna send it back to auction. And Ed even said that he was like, if we can't get it right, you need to at least pull out what you can pull out, maybe get some doors hung on it, and then maybe we'll just chain to the suspension and roll the wheel back out. That way when it goes to auction and gets pictures taken of it, it at least looks like it wasn't hit as hard as it was. That's the grimy side of this business. I'm not here to lie to y'all. I'm here to tell you the truth. That way, if you're buying on IAA, you've heard it firsthand that there are dealers that sometimes we're just trying to get our money back and dump it to somebody else. You have to keep in mind that not everybody that buys these cars fixes them. So sometimes people just buy these for junkyards or part outs or to take the motors out of them. So you're not, depending on who buys it, depends on what situation it is, if you're screwing somebody over. But if somebody just ends up buying it for a junkyard or a pick and pull or for the motor or something like that, then obviously they got exactly what they wanted. And if you are messing with IAA or Copart, you should be educated enough, or you should do your research enough to know never, ever, ever buy from dealers. Never, ever, ever buy from dealers. Only buy total losses that come from insurance companies, and only buy salvage titles. Never touch a clean title. All right, so we're making grounds. We have a gap to deal with. We have a gap down here, and it kind of closes up more up top where it's not as bad. This door needs to come down, of course. You can see that. I'm out just a little bit at the top. I'm not gonna climb up there and show y'all. So I'm kind of thinking that the bottom of this door needs to come out. When this, like this hinge, when it got hit, it probably knocked it in, so we need chain to the hinge, pull that out a little. And we got this all back lined up where our body lines are pretty much straight. For your striker, all I did was loosen it and had to take a hammer and tap it down. You can see how far it knocked it up, but as far as pulling it out, you can just get your pry bar in here like this, and if you watch, strikers are pretty easy to move out. So I mean, it's not that bad. I got that pried back out, but man, that thing took a freaking slam, son, when she went up like that. So that also tells you that if that striker, let's see here, was out and up, so if it's out and up this way, then the bottom has to be in, because all this door is going to do is teeter whichever way it gets hit. So if it gets hit in like that, then as you can see with my hand, like it's going to pull out up here. So it kind of went up and out. So we probably definitely have, the pillar is probably in just a little bit. And you can see where all of this was popped out. Like I just touched it and a lot of it was popped out. So could have got a little jarred in the wreck. So I'm thinking we might just hook to them hinges. I hate to do it because I really don't see a lot of issues there, but maybe it's the whole pillar. I don't know. So I'm gonna figure that out. It definitely got hit in here some. I mean, you can see where it definitely got pushed in. So it probably, what it was is it probably just kind of took a lick right here, not to the hinge, and kind of probably just knocked this whole area in. But we'll weld plates down here to get this bottom piece pulled out, and then we'll have to just chain to this. So I'm gonna have to unstrap the vehicle. I don't even have it on clamps. I really hate using my clamps. I don't even know where my clamps are. If y'all don't know what frame rack clamps look like, I'll show you real fast. These are my clamps. I hate using them. Absolutely hate it. So this is what a frame looks like. Frame clamp looks like. It goes to your pinch weld on your car and it bolts to the frame machine. But I hate setting them up, hate bolting them. A lot of times you got to take rockers off. This car you would not have to take rockers off. But what I use is these heavy duty, like 18-wheeler ratchet straps to the toe points under the vehicles. So under the vehicle. So that's what I do. This looks like it just has a plastic that like covers up the pinch weld. So the frame machine clamp would normally bolt right here to the pinch weld. But I absolutely hate putting them on more than anything. So I try to avoid it because you got to jack the car up, all kinds of crap. So if I can get a pull done on ratchet straps, I will always pull it on ratchet straps. So let me get at it. Let me try to get this pulled out some. I got to unstrap the car, roll the car forward because our frame rack, when it pivots right here, so the farther it slings this way, the more it sucks it in. So I literally needed these front wheels all the way to the very front of the frame machine so that when this slings back, I can get to this center pillar. Normally, you can only get to the center of your car. If you have to pull anything on the back, then you got to take the car down, turn it around, and pull it from the other side. So it's the only bad thing about this Chief Easy Liner is it doesn't swing around the back of the rack. So let me get all this done. And one actually interesting thing about this car is that the seat belts are not popped. The airbags are not popped. No airbags deployed, nothing. And this car was smacked this hard. So when you actually go to the IAA auctions, and you used to go in person, you get a pamphlet of the list of all the cars. The second to the first page would actually say no photography, no videotaping, nothing's allowed on the property. The reason why they do that is because they don't want it to get out of how many cars are hit extremely freaking hard every day and never deploy the airbags, never pop the seat belts. None of the safety stuff actually works. It is mind-blowing. We did, at our highest peak, we did 280 cars in 1 year. That was right before the pandemic. That was at our highest year ever. Most all of them, no airbags deployed. Most of them. I don't buy normally airbags deployed. So, yeah, just a little fascinating tip. Let me flip you around and show you some other stuff. So what we've done is we've changed out our hinge. We took our good hinge off, our black hinge off of our black door, and put the old hinge back on because we're going to come in here and hook the chain right here to this hinge and just pull out using our actual hinge. So I don't want to damage my good hinge because I know this hinge was not involved in the wreck, the one that come on the black door. But I know that this hinge was involved in the wreck, so this hinge could be tweaked. So what we'll do is we'll use this hinge, pull it out. If the door opens and closes fine, we will leave the hinge on there. Sometimes you can pull on these hinges and they work perfectly fine afterwards. Other times you mess them all up. But we're going to try to use this hinge. That way it pulls from the point that it probably went in at. So obviously when it took the hit, most of the force was on the hinge, knocking all that in, and all of this down here, obviously. But I just want to try to get some of this back out by the hinge, and then if I need to work out the perimeter, I can. But one interesting thing on here is a sticker. I've never seen nothing like this. So it says this vehicle may include blah, blah, blah. Let's see here, video display, HIDs. Upon disposal of the vehicle, they want you to remove all of these items and dispose of them as hazardous waste. I've never seen a decal on a door like that. I've never actually paid attention. I was here changing out the hinge and I read that and I was like, oh, that's interesting. So let me make this pull on this bottom hinge. Man, we welded all these freaking tabs on here. Mike welded them so good. I went and pulled the center one and it just pulled everything right out with it. I'm gonna see if I can, look at that. Just pulls the whole thing right out with it. I don't want to go out no more because I feel like I might actually have it right there. So I'm going to take a body hammer. We're gonna tap this crease out right here. You can see this crease is buckled. We want to knock that in to help hold it. We'll take this clamp off and then we'll close the door and see what we got. So that one pretty much come out where we need it. As you can see right there on the edge. So we're gonna try to go ahead, move on to this one because these are still sucked in just a little. And we're gonna pull it out past where it needs to be and then we're gonna relax it. Try not to rip the side off because if you rip the side off then you gotta freaking weld it back up. So that looks pretty freaking good. I think we're gonna move to the front one since we do already have the plate on there and go ahead and get that one. And then we'll just give a tug on this one down here, even though we don't have the door on. I knew it needed to be out just a little and we'll have to just skim the rest of it out because I'm not rehanging the door to check. This is what sucks about this kind of work is it's literally like twice the amount of prep work for half the amount of time to actually fix it. So we got all of that back out. That bottom rocker is pulled right back out to where it's supposed to be. Looks beautiful. We'll of course come in here and do a little body work. Nothing fancy. you could technically, you have a body line right here. And as you can see, it's knocked in. Technically, I could grind this and go ahead and pull that out and get that back out. But honestly, I just don't care, man. I mean, nobody will pay that any freaking attention. I mean, it almost looks like it's like that on purpose from the factory. So as long as we skim this out with a little dolphin glaze, nobody will notice it. And this kind of goes back to what we've went over on this channel before, is just knowing what to hide and what not to fix. So I mean, since this is such a equal kind of sweep right in here, all we do is just skim this a little bit out, and we don't be trying to build this back up. So we just leave this alone, you know. But if you know that, obviously I think that body line is supposed to be all the way. I mean, we can go check the other side real fast. I'm pretty sure there's supposed to be a body line all the way down there. But again, nobody pays attention to their door jambs. I have been doing this business long enough to tell you. Yeah, see? So you should have a body line that equally runs all the way through here. Nobody pays attention to that, though. When you get in your car, or when you go to buy a car, test drive a car, you never pay attention to that. So we're just going to let that ride. Right, Mike?
Yep, let ride.
All right, so that is going to be it for this guy. We're not making this out into some big series on how to restore a freaking Chrysler 200. I figured I'd just let y'all ride with us for today on a basic frame pull on an IAA salvage. This is not technically the right way. This is not the way that the big shops would do it. Obviously, it got totaled because the right way costs 75% of the value of the vehicle. We went over this 100 times, so you can't necessarily do it the right way. Don't mess with anybody's safety. All of the front suspension is damaged, so every piece of the front suspension will get replaced. That includes the strut, the lower control arm, and the spindle, the inner tie rod, and sway bar link. All of that stuff will get replaced. So suspension will be completely unbolted, all the damaged stuff, and swapped over. All right, so with that said, we're gonna wrap this video up for this one, because I know y'all don't want to watch a whole Chrysler 200 being rebuilt. I'm gonna finish out what we got to address and sling some body filler and then door jams, and then move on to the next one. Back to the Tahoe. Like, comment, subscribe, share. I'll catch y'all on the next one.